What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching. In today's video, I wanted to show you my golf lesson here at GolfTec. I am currently in the parking lot, GolfTec, right behind me. This video has been requested by a few of you guys, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Let's jump right into it. All right, guys, this is Ben. It's one of the instructors here at GolfTec. So, yeah, man, what have we been working on? I know this is, like my fifth lesson now?
Fifth lesson. So we saw a lot of early extension, some flipping through impact. So we started working on how are we controlling our weight, getting onto our heels, being able to turn a little bit better through impact, be able to keep those hips back so that way we're not taking up workspace and having to release a little bit early.
Humping to go.
Hump and go.
All right, well, let's get right into it, man.
So today's driver, we're going to see if that issue shows up with driver or if we got something else going on. So
I think it does.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it does.
Well, when we go to apply power, we kind of go to those old modes of thinking, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be unusual. There you are. We're just going to hit some shots downrange. We'll get some club data. We'll get some swings here.
How you doing? I'll take that.
Yeah, do that.
I'll do that.
That's solid. 285 carry, roll past 300.
That's left.
So what do you think about while you're going to drive? Like, what are your feels? What are you trying to do?
As in what?
Well, like, what tells you made a full backswing? How are you creating power? I mean, is there anything you think about while hitting the driver to just wind up and hit it hard?
No, I mean, I'm just kind of focusing on the same thing, really. Trying to feel that hit come back. For me, it's just more of the weight. When I kind of feel the club get almost like a little weightless,
Okay.
that's when I know I completed my swing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's look at one of these. This is actually a decent example of it. It was a good shot, right? We got away with it. But I'm going to throw up a swing plane. So just getting some reference lines up here. We're going to look at the right side really quick. That's going to be our sways. I got a line vertically off that ball. With the driver, we definitely want to stay behind our ball wall here. Is going to be our feeling. So we'll check in on that. We shift our weight forward, start getting our rotation. We see that lead shoulder working straight up at that wall. So that's all really good. We're getting some decent tilts on our way through impact, getting extended, rotating through. Not too shabby there. If we watch the left side of the screen here, as we work back into our swing plane, we're getting the club head just a little bit under plane and the face a little bit shut. When we get into our longer clubs, I would love to see you get the toe up just a little bit here at P2. And I'd love for you to feel like your hands and say like the center of your sternum were really connected, that they stayed right in front of you, that we don't start getting that trail elbow, that right elbow pulling back, getting our arms disconnected from our body a little bit.
Okay.
Because that can set us up to get out of sync. So if we watch that process happening on the left side, we see just a touch of bend, in that right arm, and we'll see that increase and kind of pulling back behind the body here, especially as we go into the top of that swing right there. From that point, we start rotating down, that elbow stays back there, and doesn't work to clear the trail hip, doesn't get in front of the body at all. And then as we work down to impact, we have to start extending that arm a little bit early, hips a little bit off the line here as well. We see we're not getting as much hip depth. It's not the big extension that we saw when we started together, but it's a little bit of it there.
Yeah.
So here we are in plane, but we dump it under plane just a little bit through that extension, and we get our arm extending just a touch early. I want to see that right arm basically keeping its bend almost all the way to impact, and then pushing past the ball, pushing that grip on through impact. But that's all set up back here, back at P2, getting that club face a little closed, and then really sucking that elbow back behind us, getting those arms a little bit disconnected is only adding to our stuckness here. So we were looking at somebody that does not hit a hook. Let's check out a pro player. I'll grab DJ here. There's the side view.
PJ.
So DJ does have a shut club face, right? He closes it a little bit. I'm putting it through here. I'll pull a couple guys up just so you can see different ways. His hand path works up and out. He keeps his face a little bit shut here. we see he's not really sucking that trail elbow back behind his body, right?
Yeah.
It stays along the side, or maybe feeling like his elbow is pointed just a little bit forward at the top. And of course, we know he's going to hit that top plate line on the way down. Let's look at a couple other dudes hitting driver here. Go look at like a Tony Finau, right? A little bit more compact backswing. He's going to have that toe up a whole lot more than you do at P2.
Like the face is pretty much up and down instead of
up and down. Yeah, so if I like draw our line here, your face is looking down here somewhere, and Tony's face is looking out and away from him. Now, I'm not a real big fan into the iron shots of like rolling the face open, rolling it closed. That's a mess to time up. But certainly we don't need to allow that face to be that shut with the driver, especially if we are getting a hook miss.
Yeah.
Working up to the top of the swing, Tony's going to keep his hands pretty much in front of his sternum, and he's not going to suck that trail elbow back behind him at all to try to create that depth. And you see your elbow really getting pulled back behind, shoulder joint changes how it's rotated there. And then from that spot, you end up a little stuck on the way down. So I want to work on takeaway and getting up to our top position, and then we'll see how that impacts your delivery. See if we can't get that ball flight a little bit straighter here. In the end, this is going to be more the look that we're going to pose for, is just really toe up at 2 and then elbow down but in front of the body at the top. You are going to feel like you're making half swings here.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like, even just looking at his swing, I mean, it has a very compact swing.
Yeah, Tony's known for having a compact swing. But even so, he can crush that ball, working down into impact, getting on plane, turning through. We see all the other features of the hip staying deeper there. But first thing that we need to clean up is how stuck you're getting. Should we work up to the top of the swing? So here's what you got going on. You tend to really get your arms long in your takeaway, feeling wide, right? Totally cool. Over time, I want you to be able to lever this club a little better, but we don't need to worry about that as much today. If we're getting arms long, we're not going to do it and have the face shut. We're going to feel toe up, and then as we work to the top of the swing, hands staying in front of the body, and then letting my elbow fold more along the side of my body. I don't need to get this back here, because then when I start rotating, I'm just absolutely stuck. I'm going to flip, and we know that that can close the club face successfully. Okay, so we're going to break it up into 2 parts. One, just our takeaway. We're going to set up, and we're going to work to turn, keeping our hands in front of us, and get the toe up. That's it. Keep it nice and simple at first. So we're going to set up here. We're just going to turn P1 to P2. You stay looking at the ball. We'll pause, and we'll check where our club face is. Cool. So yeah, absolutely. A little bit more toe up here, and then we would want that club to be a little bit more on the hands, not getting back behind our butt. There, cool. And then let's work up to the top. Where do you get to from there? You just went to the top of your swing. Yeah, good. That position. Then could you swing through from there? Yeah. Cool. Obviously, we're not going to have any like tempo or flow here, but just to check out that position. Trail elbow stays down at the top. It's a really good spot. We're not wrenching that arm back to try to create depth. We start turning. Hands can work a little bit more along the top line. Elbow gets a little bit more in front of the hip. And then into impact, we're much more on plane and almost likely to hit a fade from that position. So let's do this a few more times. We're gonna go P1 to P2, pause. Cool. I just want you to feel like maybe you have the butt of the club still pointing at us a little bit.
I think that in my head, I kind of like almost follow the head, so I make sure I just feel like I'm doing it.
I like the idea. But that needs to be based in our hip and shoulder turn and not the rotation of our arms. Because if we start rolling our forearms during that, like while we're turning, so like turn, just turn. Now, if you rolled your forearms, we're dumping that club head under plane. And so that just adds to the pile of factors that can get us stuck and hit hooks. Okay, so
kind of
just turning the hips and shoulders will let that club head path where it needs to. And then let's feel for the toe up just a little bit here. Good.
And so you want this right here.
Basically, I want you to be very passive with your hands in that takeaway long term. I mean, today we're going to keep it simple and just go to this P2 position and build a little bit better top position. But yeah, long term, man, this is just rotating the body, arms doing very little so that they can stay in front of our chest or in front of our sternum or a little bit more connected. So 1 to 2, pause. Cool, let's get the club head a little bit more on the hands, not as far behind us. Good. Let's work up to the top. Cool, and swing. Nice. All right. So, top position is awesome. Saw it too, club head was still just a touch under plane. It's okay, we'll clean that up. But once we get to that better top position, elbow's not as stuck behind us, and club more on top of the plane. Right, that's how that goes. As soon as we get a ball in front of you, we probably will go back to pulling back a little bit, but we'll work on that one piece at a time. All right, 1 to 2 and pause. Oh, you're good. That's what I want right there. That is in plane. We got our toe largely up. And then from there, elbow sits down, work to the top of the swing. We don't want more with that. Okay. Let's put it all together. Let's try to just get all the way to the top, hitting that nice P2 position.
What's up, Alex? I'll be right in there.
Good. So this was our first attempt at working from setup all the way to the top, getting a much better arm structure, hands just sitting on that top plane line, trail shoulder, not sucked back behind us. Good job getting there. It feels really weird to a lot of people. Start down, working along that top line. We actually got above plane here. Strike that ball, finish it out. Not a bad swing. Let's do that a few more times, just address all the way to the top, yeah. Getting a little bit of a rhythm.
It's always the top.
All the way to the top, yeah, and we'll check what P2 looks like. Good. So let's check her out. 1 to 2. I've got the face just a touch shut here, so we could work on that position. But going up to the top, man, you're killing that spot. I love that top position. So let's work to get to that spot and just feel the toe a little bit more up for a couple more swings here, and then we'll start hitting some golf balls. Nice. And then go and swing. Good job. All right, give me one more all the way up, and you can just swing through at normal tempo. One more full swing. I want you to feel for that trail elbow pointing down into the ball a little bit more. We just let it suck back a little bit. It's much better than normal. Nice. So how does it feel any different than normal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling this kind of right elbow kind of staying right here. Like
Yeah.
I'm physically trying, like not letting it. So my tendency to just, it feels comfortable right here.
Yeah.
But like I have to really.
You gotta kind of get that shoulder externally rotated is what that's called.
But like I almost gotta feel like even on my setup, like right
Yes.
here, starting it from here.
If you've ever read Hogan's book, he's big on that setup, really putting that right hand under and feeling like he just anchors that elbow right here. That's a feel. Because you're a guy that's in hooks, I don't want you necessarily turning that hand under and strengthening the grip, but the feeling of that elbow staying on the front half of the body gets you to a much better top position for sure. The checkpoint along the way though is
Once it passes that little, like I have like a little gut right here.
yeah.
There's a
Tell me
little
about
pocket.
yeah.
Once it passes that, like I can see like right here.
Once
where
it
I
slide.
Yeah, I gotta keep it in that little.
Yeah, and you probably are gonna feel like you don't get your hand path or that club as far back behind you as a result. That's okay, because you get really good depth and you have a good turn going back. If we want the club to go back further, it's gonna be by rotating our body more. So we feel like we keep that handle in front of our chest a little bit at the top. Along the way, this P2 position is going to be important for you to practice because that's the piece that's been a little harder for you to just kind of mime here, which is in that takeaway. So again, a little bit of this look. It's not awful, but I want to encourage a little bit more toe up. It doesn't need to be straight up and down. A little bit more toe up.
Is that more of just me kind of have to rotate the face a little bit as I turn, or? Because if I just let it passive, it just closes. Like, because I have a tendency to kind of have like that.
Yeah,
swing.
exactly.
So it's like, it gets to there.
Yeah, and you kind of get this like wide and pointy look
Yeah.
away from you too. That's why over time I want to teach you to keep those hands closer and get a little bit more leverage on that club. But right now I just want to keep it simple and say, hey, we're gonna get the toe point up at 2. So let's go to 2 and pause. Cool. And yeah, that's the look we want. And then we'll work to the top. Trail elbow staying down and swing. Nice job. All right, one more. We're gonna record it and then we'll hit.
Let's guide it.
This guy. So what I want you to do for your drilling is pause drills for sure. Right now, I don't care if we're wide, I care that we have the toe up. And then at the top position, I need you feeling that this points towards the ball as much as you can, okay? That's gonna be the feeling. Because from there, what we're gonna talk about, other than creating more leverage into our backswing, is clearing that trail elbow in front of us so that we can extend a little bit later through impacts. That way we don't get that face closing quite as much. That's where this path goes, okay?
Okay.
So, polish drills, hit some balls with some float, and then really exaggerate how much that elbow's pointing forward.
Just with driver.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of integrate with all your clubs, but obviously driver's where the issue is showing up the most right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing wrong with taking a pitching wedge and doing the same stuff because it's the same sort of swing technique. The only big driver difference is a little bit of angle of attack into impact, but that's its own topic.
All right, guys, there you have it. So you saw in there what we're working on. Trying to keep this elbow a little bit more tucked in because I tend to, when I come on my backswing, I tend to kind of bring this out and it gets stuck behind me. And when I come into impact, I'm like this, and you don't want to be like this. You want to be more right here. So it's all right here. And also on the takeaway, I tend to close the face a little bit. So you want to keep that more centered, straight up and down. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the range. I'm gonna work on it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, make sure you like it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.